A buyer plugged a grow light into a watt meter. The panel was sold as 1,000 watts. The meter read 117, not a typo. That's barely a tenth of the number on the box. He said, plainly, that he'd been cheated. That gap isn't a defect, it's the business model. A lighting company tore down a competitor's listing and found one panel advertised 3 ways at once. The title said 900 watts. The description said it replaced 1,200 to 1,400 watts of older lighting. The fine print admitted it drew 600. 3 different numbers, 1 product, 1 page. The number on the box is whatever the seller decides to print. You already know the cheap $40 Amazon panel is inflated. That's not news. But here's what most buyers miss. The same hidden number that exposes the $40 panel also exposes the $300 upgrade. It exposes the $500 Prosumer board. Sometimes it exposes the $1,200 commercial fixture too. The number is called efficacy. It's measured in micromoles per joule, the usable light a fixture delivers for every watt of electricity it burns. Budget brands leave it off the box entirely. Mid-tier brands bury it. Most buyers never look for it. There are 5 real tiers hiding behind these inflated numbers. The worst trap isn't the cheapest tier. It's the tier where buyers think they've already done their homework. And there's a single component, one diode, that shows up in a $150 mid-tier board and a $1,500 commercial fixture. Same part, same maker. Once you know what it is, you can pull any spec sheet and tell instantly whether the price is real hardware or just a badge. The 5 real tiers. Level 1 is the Windowsill clip-on. These run between $15 and $40 with a real draw under 30 watts. The codec, the gooing top, the EWP-JDK, small gooseneck panels you clip to a shelf. They are genuinely useful for a few herbs, succulents, microgreens, or keeping a low-light houseplant alive through winter. Keep them 4 to 8 inches from the leaf surface to get anything useful out of them. They have no published efficacy number at all. That absence tells you who makes them and what the buyer is expected to ask. For a windowsill of basil, that's fine. For tomatoes, peppers, or any fruiting plant you want to harvest, level 1 won't get you there. They don't produce enough light intensity, full stop. Level 2 is the budget Amazon panel, and this is where it gets dangerous. Buyers reach this tier thinking they've been smart by skipping the $15 clip-on. Price range $30 to $80. This is where the wattage game does the most damage. The inflation here is a spectrum. The cheapest draw around 150 watts. The mid-grade 1,000 watt equivalent units draw 400 to 700 watts. Still inflated, just by less. So when you see 1,000 watt equivalent, you don't actually know what you're getting without a watt meter. One independent test of 18 panels sold as 1,000 watt found most drew far less than their label. Some pulled as little as 100-odd watts. At level 2, efficacy frequently runs below 1.5 micromoles per joule. A high-pressure sodium bulb from the 1970s hits around 1.7. You're paying for a panel that measures out worse than 50-year-old technology. And if you landed on an older Blurple panel, the ones that only fire red and blue diodes, those sit between 1.6 and 2.1 micromoles per joule. They also make it nearly impossible to see whether a plant is sick or healthy because everything looks purple under them. Research from the University of Minnesota Extension found a cheap 45-watt Blurple panel can be beaten by a quality 20-watt full-spectrum LED at the same hanging distance. Now here's how it actually works. The equivalent wattage trick came from the old HID era, when watts genuinely tracked output. A 1,000-watt sodium bulb drew 1,000 watts and produced a known amount of light. Manufacturers carried that shorthand into LEDs because buyers still trusted it. But LED efficiency varies wildly between products. There is no legal standard, and no industry standard for equivalent wattage. The Federal Trade Commission requires a wattage label to reflect the real power drawn at the wall, but equivalent wattage sidesteps that entirely. It's not claiming the fixture draws that power, only that it's equivalent to one that did. So a 150-watt panel legally wears a 1,000-watt label because the factory simply picked the comparison. And if you want to see through the next aisle before you buy, subscribe. This channel takes apart how the pricing games actually work, category by category. Because the second mechanism is the one that fooled you without a single fake number. The second mechanism is the metric swap. Instead of publishing efficacy, brands lead with PPFD. That stands for photosynthetic photon flux density, how much usable light actually reaches the plant each second. PPFD is a real and useful number, but it's only valid at a specific hanging height, and most budget listings quote it with no height stated. A strong reading at 6 inches looks completely different at 24. An honest brand publishes a full PPFD map at 18, 24, and 30 inches. That map shows what the light actually delivers across the canopy, including the dim corners. No map usually means they're hiding the dim corners. The third mechanism explains something you've probably noticed and never been able to name. 2 panels on the same search page, different brand names, identical looking hardware, $100 price gap between them. There's a specific reason, and once you see it, a brand name stops meaning what you think it does. It's the OEM rebadge. Factories like Econolux and Tubu openly advertise rebrandable grow light panels as a standard service. You pick the spectrum, the housing color, your logo, and your model numbers. The factory ships it as your brand. Tubu markets certified panels at up to 2.8 to 3.0 micromoles per joule as rebrandable, customized spectrum. Econolux advertises building clones of popular professional fixtures on a confidential basis. 2 differently priced panels on Amazon with different brand names can be the same hardware off the same line. The markup is the badge, not the components. So when one mid-tier brand built its whole identity on not playing these games, growers noticed, and they've been stress testing that claim against spec sheets for years. Level 3 is the mid-tier known brand, priced from $100 to $450. This is the value sweet spot, and it's where most home growers belong. The Spider Farmer SF1000 draws a real 100 watts and says so. The Spider Farmer FCE1000 draws a real 300 watts and lists an efficacy of 2.7 micromoles per joule. Mars Hydro's TS series runs around 2.3. The FC6500 reaches 2.85. Both publish PPFD maps with stated heights. Here, the number in a model name tracks real watts, not sodium bulb equivalents. That shift alone separates this tier from everything below it. The brands that tell the truth, Spider Farmer is the mid-tier honesty benchmark. The grower community on forums like Grow Weed Easy and Grow Diaries consistently notes that Spider Farmer's published specs match what the hardware delivers. The advertised efficacy holds up when growers measure it themselves. Samsung diodes appear even in their cheaper models, not just the premium lines. That consistency is the whole reputation. Mars Hydro pushes harder on value. Often more usable light per dollar than Spider Farmer at the same price, and the FC6500 reaches 2.85 micromoles per joule. The caveat is real. Forum Teardowns flag that Mars Hydro doesn't always specify diode type on budget models, and efficacy figures on some lines run slightly optimistic. Mars is the value pick. It is not the most conservative spec sheet in the tier. Both brands run Samsung diodes. Both have deep grower followings, and the argument over which one belongs in your tent has run for years without resolution. Pick a side in the comments. Level 4 is the Prosumer panel, running $450 to $720. The HLG 350 Diablo sits around $549 and pulls between 330 and 600 watts depending on the dimmer setting. The AC Infinity Ion frame, Evo 6 and Evo 8 live here, as does the Grower's Choice ROIE 720 at $720 to $919. Efficacy at this level runs 2.8 to 3.0 micromoles per joule and above. You get 5-year warranties and real dimming ranges that let you match light output to the growth stage. If you are running a dedicated 4x4 or 5x5 space and plan to keep the fixture 5 or more years, the efficiency advantage pays back in lower electricity costs over that window. Level 5 is where the numbers get genuinely impressive and where most home growers are about to make an expensive mistake. There is a point where commercial grade stops being an advantage and becomes a cost you carry every month for nothing. HLG is where the prosumer tier earns its credibility. They pioneered the quantum board format, and the Diablo X publishes a real 3.07 micromoles per joule, a number the community has verified independently. HLG doesn't rely on claims you have to trust. They publish the data and let it stand. Gavita publishes hard, certified specs. The Pro 1700E, 1700 micromoles per second, 645 watts real draw, 2.6 micromoles per joule. The RS 2400E, 3.2 micromoles per joule at full power, 3.4 when dimmed. UL 8800 certification and IP66 sealing. Those numbers are on the spec sheet, not just the marketing page. AC Infinity's Ion frame line explicitly labels actual power consumption on the listing. Not equivalent wattage, not peak chip draw. You get Samsung diodes, a controller system that ties multiple fixtures together, and specs you can cross-reference before you buy. So the mid-tier brands aren't cheaper because they cut corners on diodes. They're direct-to-consumer builders out of Shenzhen running the same Samsung components as commercial fixtures. That Samsung diode line sits near the physical efficiency ceiling for this type of LED, roughly 3.0 to 3.4 micromoles per joule, close to the limit of what the technology can do. Above that, the gains shrink fast and the price climbs steeply. What you skip at level 3 is the dealer network, the commercial certifications, and the domestic distribution chain. Those are real costs. They just aren't costs that make your plants grow faster. And the form factor camps, the HLG quantum board loyalists versus the bar-style crowd on Gavita and Spider Farmer SE, both have growers who won't switch. Both sides are defensible. Level 5 is sole source commercial, priced from $1,000 to over $2,000. The Gavita Pro 1700E draws 645 watts, outputs 1700 micromoles per second, and hits 2.6 micromoles per joule at around $1,140. The Gavita Pro RS 2400E draws 750 to 800 watts, outputs 2400 micromoles per second, and reaches 3.2 micromoles per joule at full power. It climbs to 3.4 when dimmed to 40%, because efficiency rises as you back off the power. That fixture runs $1,399 to $2,024. The HLG Scorpion and Ultima Diablo X sit above 3.0 micromoles per joule, starting around $1,299. These carry an IP66 rating, sealed against direct water spray, and UL 8800 certification. They're built for commercial rooms, running hundreds of fixtures off a master controller. For most viewers watching this, Level 5 is the overpay trap. Buying a Gavita 2400 for 2 shelves of plants is buying capacity you'll never use. You're paying for a dealer network and a certification structure your setup doesn't need. Here's the part that should change how you read every price tag above level 3. The Samsung diodes inside those commercial fixtures are the same ones already sitting in level 3 panels that cost a quarter of the price. The diode isn't the variable. The price gap above level 3 pays for the water sealing, the certification, a US dealer network, and a support line that picks up. That's real infrastructure. A 2-tent home grower funds it and rarely uses it. Your move. The buying rule is simple. Know your level, then buy 1 tier up. Never 2. A level 5 fixture over 2 shelves of plants is the Overpay trap running in reverse. Size for your space first. For fruiting plants, target 30 to 40 real watts of quality LED per square foot of canopy. A 4x4 tent needs 480 to 640 real watts, drawn from a fixture that honestly pulls that number at the wall. Then run the cost. A 600-watt draw light, 12 hours a day, at 15 cents per kilowatt hour, costs about $32 a month. A true 1,000-watt draw at the US average of 13 cents runs about $47 a month. You pay that number every month for the life of the fixture, not the label number, the real one. 3 numbers to check before you buy anything. First, real wattage. Find actual power draw, or input power, on the spec sheet, not the model name. Second, the PPFD map at 18, 24, and 30 inches. No map means the dim corners stay hidden. Third, efficacy in micromoles per joule. Below 2.0 is old technology, 2.5 to 2.8 is solid modern, 3.0 and above is top tier. Bruce Bugby's lab at Utah State put it plainly. Fixture efficacy, not spectrum or color, is what drives plant growth. The color argument ends there. At level 3, the debate never really settles. Is the better buy the brand with the higher numbers or the one that has never once overstated them? Tell me where you land.